Hello, Scott from Wessex Place. What I thought I'd do is, as I'm packing my stuff away again from my trip out with Funky, I'll just go over what I had, reasons for it, and how well or not it performed while I was out there. Now, I never picked up what the weather was going to be. I only heard from Darren that it was forecast crap weather, so we're talking really torrential rain. Well, we did have a bit of a downpour about 8 o'clock in the morning or something, so there's definitely rain around. So the stuff that I was packing was destined to protect me for a day of rain, a night of rain, possibly rain the next morning. So one thing I did put in but never used was a dry sack from Strikeforce. I think I paid £6 or something, and it's got a complete set of clothes in there. So it's got a good t-shirt, pair of boxer shorts, pair of socks, and some sort of gorilla wear bodybuildery jogging bottoms. All well and good, ready to go. The only snag is, I'm coming back, I've cut it on something. I don't know what it is. So I'll just keep it in the bag to contain it whilst I consider a way of repairing an L-shaped cut and a long cut and a nick. So I don't know whether I've caught it on the kukri as it went in on a bit of brass guard. I don't know whether the Trangia stove, as I was driving it in, has caught that, but the spare set of clothes that I've got in a dry bag is now, it's got a bit of a rip on it. So as soon as I can think about repairing that, I'll get round to it. Obviously we had the incredibly awesome surpate, slim, lean, that way, thick as anything that way, and that was more than enough performance for a weekend of wood chopping. But look how small it is. That's it. Amazing. I had the new which is down here in the rocket pack. I've got my, remember, pillow, my old, which we've got to take out, hammock, which I had all ready to go with big fat paracord knockoff stuff, so I could lash it around a tree. The new one now comes in a lovely neat little bag. We'll grab it out. Oh, a bit hard. And in there also was a 3/4 size sleep mat, which is more than enough. And here's the there you go, jungle hammock with mosquito neck. I had a hell of a deal on that from Jasper, a hell of a deal. Also, spare pair of outdoor socks and a nightstick, light stick. So if I put them back in now, they're ready for next time. In goes the 3/4 sleep mat. Jungle hammock just sitting there. Special mentions to cat hole digging Special Forces shovel from Cold Steel via Jay's Blades. Very useful, dug a great hole, do what it's supposed to do, no fuss, no bother, did it. That's what you want for spade. Great fun. And you know it's a tried and tested sort of design. I like it. That lived down the side of the rocket pack, boom, like that. Overside should be blades and spare shirt. So I've got my Norgie shot cord. This stuff I suppose is about 8mm. Stretches about 3 or 4 times its own length. This is my ridge line, so it goes around the tree through a loop, pull around the tree, back on itself, quick release knot. That's the top of my thing for my tarpaulin. The mini tripod, it's lasting, it's doing very well for its age, but uprated at some point. The Varan didn't get much of an air in because I had the Kook and that just did everything. Let's go that side. Virtually worn out. The catches. Yeah, there we go. But as long as I'm careful with it and I bear down on it, I use it like this. Still perfectly functional. So I knew I wasn't going to be doing firewood for hours on end. It just did all I needed it to do. It performed fine. Dickies professional workwear, goatskin work gloves. You see me use them all the time. I'm not out to be a hero. I will wear gloves. I don't want a week off work because I've cut my hand. Taking pots off the fire. Brambles, blackthorn, you name it. I mean, I've still got cuts on me and I had gloves to hand, so far better I took them than not. That's my thing. They're about £10 Dickies workwear, and I always get XL. Need I say more? Search and rescue for Boosie. It's just for the companionship. Moving on. I took the Brasso but didn't use it because we had the Snapdragon Fire Dragon breathing fire starter thing. Just emergency fire starter because I was, you know, looking as if I was going to have a horrendous amount of rain. Didn't get to use the Tesco AA torch because the video light I had from Rob Phillips was just did everything. It did the night, it did the filming for the cameras, and it was the camp light as well. 64 LEDs, floodlight. So that did everything that we needed light for. Expecting wet, so I had some. This is on Tesco's. They're clearing out their summer stuff, so I had some of that, but never used it. Reason? I came back with a snug pack thing with a mozzie net, so never got around to using that. A light utility blade. I took the Survival Edge, sort of vaguely stainless. I think it's Krupp 4116 on this, so I just took that because it was low maintenance. Spare fire starter, did alright, but I did use the Varan to help chop out the fish slice. I made a start with the Survival Edge, but it didn't quite have enough weight. I like chopping stuff out. It's 10 times faster. You're not supposed to chop with a knife. Asshole. Right. Took the Strike Force so long, didn't use it. I used the knockoff one with the Thomas the Tank Engine. Toot Sweets, remember them? Lollies. Wibbles. Does the job. Does the job. Ain't really found a limitation on it yet. So they're from Deal Extreme, like £4. Took a puck, Lansky puck. I took some mozzie bracelets, didn't use them. Green scouring pad. I took some car boot sale. I bought, you know, these £5 silver bags you get, banking money things. I don't know if you're supposed to get all of them, I don't know. But I bought a bag of them. I don't know, perhaps my mum picked them up and knew I was into this sort of weird ass candle stuff. A lot of birthday candles. birthday cake candles. Cost pence. You get in trouble, you got to see it later. Light the candle. You know, I'll make a attempt at a fire and I look at the way it's going to be, the conditions, the way the wood is, and I'll think whether it's windy or honking down with rain, just how much chance I have of getting that fire going. I think I've got to get it going. I'll just get it going. I think I'm really going to struggle and it's going to be an absolute bitch. You light the candle. You sacrifice it. So that candle's there going to burn away. A bit like the dragon fire thing that we were testing. Is a sustained flame for a certain amount of time. To burn a candle up, that thing's all going on all the time, burning away, warming up the wood, putting some heat in it, catching the wood whilst you're actually building on it, and you've got your hands free, the candle's burning away. So just makes it a little bit easier. But the conditions are pretty good, and we had this fire starter that I didn't know I was going to use, so didn't get to use them. What else we got? Again, didn't get to use that. It's just a cheap ass wind up hurdy-gurdy. Light as hell. Just enough to get you about. I wouldn't call it a camp light, it's more of a tent light or a shelter light. When you take a pee at night, it's the sort of thing you have where you bleary eyed, you're not going to blind yourself the first time you turn it on. Although these things are the most annoying directional light in your face fairy thing going. Wherever you are, it's always shining in your face, apart from where you're holding it down at the floor. It's really weird how no matter where you put it, you're catching it in the eyes. But it's light, it's easy to use. Tum-ti-tum. My Swedish mess tin and the square one are getting washed up. I had that as a gift the other day from Savas, so I had the cheap paracord he gave me, huge DD tarps. This is the biggest one they do. This is 4.5 by 3 meters. 4.5 by 3. It's very big. 1.02 kilograms. Wasn't messing about with rain gear, was I? And I was going to experiment catching rain and using a rubber tube to drink from. Didn't rain. Didn't rain at all. This seat, I had a PM. I think it was Kenny. Get me wrong if it wasn't. I got this as a National Trust section in Boots. It does actually have a Boots company PLC, the National Trust. This is Boots and National Trust, really. Enterprises Limited. Helia, Campbell Drive, Swindon. Now, when it goes together, I'm on the last connector on the bottom. That one there. And there are ones that the Highlander do one. But once you sit on it and you put the tension on it, I've never had that thing collapse. And I bust 2 crappy aluminium tube, steel tubey things. This thing just keeps going. I'm into my 3rd winter with it now. This gets clogged up with dirt, because you imagine there isn't much surface area on the base, and that really starts to sink in. But once you disconnect it, fold it up, that's it. That is it. There was a sack with it, a hokey cokey sort of, blah blah. Right at the bottom should also be, it's fallen down, pumpkin great first aid kit, and something very heavy, which I took along, again expecting bad weather. It's coming. The wicked stove I had from Stony Broke Bushcraft. Andy made me this sheet steel double layer with gasification stove. It's brutal when it gets going. again, it was intending it for rain, and then I bought a bigger pot anyway, so this didn't get used. But I carried it in, and I was going to use it, but things just changed, and for £1, I went through the 5 he had up on the hook, and this one had the least amount of play. It's a little lock back, sort of meadowlarky looking mini lock blade with a touch of serrations. Didn't get to use it, but it's at the bottom of the pack anyway. So that's a sort of a rundown of the gear I had. That's got to go in for washing. I'm going to keep hold of that. Up there where all my camping mats are. But the jungle bag that I had, which is the one from the guy at work, was more than enough with the wool blanket. The 3/4 mat in the hammock, it just happened that the way I move, it ended up completely off to one side, so the back was cold at one point, but being able to sort of go it, move it and jig it about, the hammock sort of coped with me moving and got it back underneath, so it did shift, but you get over that sort of thing. Inflatable pillow, but that didn't happen, ended up disappearing somewhere. But hey, things you take for comfort, things you really need. You know, if you're prepared to carry the weight, you'll benefit from the extra ordnance or comfort when you get there. It was a bit of a hill down and back up again when we arrived, but you take a folding saw, plenty of clothes, plenty of water, adequate shelter of some description, backup shelter maybe. You should have a fun time, safe time. Don't go anywhere without a first aid kit, because you just don't know what happened. We were banging around with some pretty brutal stuff, mate. I mean, you glance off the log with that. It's no good ringing for 999. They ain't gonna get there for half an hour if I use the helicopter. Okay, you got to be able to deal with it quickly and, you know, stop the bleeding if you can, calm the person down if you can, in 3 minutes. With one of these hitting anybody, you can't take any chances. So big ass first aid kit, and it's not a first aid kit that you've gone and bought, chucked in and forgot about. Take it home, open it out, study what it is, see what you got, recognise what the things are, know how you're going to use them if you need to, and then uprate the bastard. Just uprate it. Sanitary towels in for big wounds. You can go on Amazon and you can buy steri strips to close wounds up. I mean, you've got big compressed gauzes on there. I've uprated this. There's a dress in there. You know, it's not just simply what it comes in and you trust it. Oh, this manufacturer, this company has decreed that this is adequate for a Duke of Edinburgh Bronze Award. Okay. Kid falls over with a 33 litre patrol pack, lands on spikes sticking out of the ground. Punches shoulder. I won't even go near chest cavity, let's just say he punches his shoulder. You know. Who wants a first aid kit this bit? You know, a first aid kit that bit. That's the way I think. You know, most people would assume, oh, you go outdoors and that's too big a knife to go camping. That's not a camp knife. They want Swiss Army knives. That to them is a knife you go camping with. That is more than adequate. Okay. Yeah, right. You need a beast of a blade. You want something to do more than a Swiss Army knife in terms of capabilities, power, resilience, reliability, toughness. splitting, carving, whittling. Any Swiss Army knife is a utility tool, is a backup tool. I wouldn't go out anywhere with just a Swiss Army knife unless I was out to prove yourself. I don't know. Can't be just me, surely. So, you know, I have plenty of layers. I mean, it's only late September when I had a Norgie and shirts and a jumper and a waterproof coat and a hat and a shemagh and a spare pair of clothes. Does that make me a wuss, or does that make me, considering what eventualities I want to combat in case something goes tits up? You know, I mean, I'm not the greatest bloke in bushcraft in the world. Please God, no. Okay, not even in Radstock. There's blokes around there who wipe the floor of me. I'm not going out unless I got something to make everything safer, more easily, more enjoyable, and I'm not going to end up wishing, do you know what? I wish I brought the little first aid kit. I wish I brought me folding saw. I wish I brought me stool. I wish I brought a wall blanket. For what? Bigger burger and a bit of weight. Walk slow, don't fall over. So hopefully that was a bit of an insight into my loadout as it all goes away in varying dry sections of my wonderful garage. But hey, all the best. See you next one. Scott from Wessex Blades.